morning to all candidates and examiners. Today we are going to talk about the best way to learn a new language. I would like to say that reading is the effective way to learn a new language. Firstly, reading the textbook can learn the large collections of vocabulary. It means that we can learn many new words through the article in the textbook. To exemplify, when we are reading an article, we can check the meaning of the words to increase our vocabulary, so our vocabulary become rich and make our learning process more smoothly. Moving on to my second point, reading also allows us to pick up other aspects of the language. It means that we can read the sentences in the article to exemplify the passive sentences and the personifications. So we are able to learn sentences structure, grammar, rules when we are reading. Thirdly, reading helps us to explore various types of articles. It is important for us to learn a new language as we can understand the article more quickly after reading many types of articles. To exemplify news, poems, and novels. What do you think, Candidate B? Thank you, Candidate A, and good morning to all candidates and examiners for the opinions that given by Candidate A just now. I don't see eyes to eyes with you. It is because reading needs more patience and it is not very interesting while we are learning a new language, though reading. I believe that socializing is the more effective way to learn a new language. Firstly, it allows us to talk with the users of the language. It means that we can practice it frequently. To exemplify, we can learn many new words and sentences in the times we are communicating. So we can just discuss the meaning of the words when we are chatting and we can get the response more directly. Moving on to my second point, socializing also allows us to meet new friends, which is native speaker. I believe that we learn new language so we are able to talk, listen, and write. To exemplify, in Malaysia, we learn British accents in primary school. So when we are meeting new friends who is native speaker, we may learn the accents of the native speakers. Thirdly, when we are communicating, we can learn how to use it in our daily life. It is also a main reason we learn new language. To exemplify, we can use it in many situations like asking for directions, selling and buying, or greeting with friends. However, when we just learning English without socializing, we cannot use it in daily life as we cannot listen and understand of others' opinions. In conclusion, I believe that socializing is the more effective ways to learn a new language because it allows us to talk with the users of the language and talk with the native speaker and learn how to use in daily life. Does anyone agree with me? I see your point that socializing allows us to learn the new language because the learner can practice to use the language in the real world scenarios. Well, I am agree with your point at sentence extent. Allow me to share my point, which is traveling can help us to learn a new language. Firstly, traveling provides an environment for us to learn a new words of that language. When we are speak the language in daily life, we can learn many new things, though communications. To exemplify, we can talk to the native speaker when we are traveling. Tour guides will do briefings for the historical buildings, and we can learn the new words effectively as we can touch and see the building. Moving on to my second point, traveling also let us practice our listening, writing, and conversation skills in a new language. It is because the locals will share their cultures with the traveler. To exemplify, listen to the briefings and we can share our appreciations for the new cultures with them. So there needs to be a lot of conversations in the process. In conclusions, I believe that traveling can provide an environment for us to learn a new words and allow us to practice our listenings, writings, and conversation skills of the new language. What do you think, candidate D? That is a good point because we can learn the new language through traveling, and the learning process is interesting because we can learn the new words effectively as we can touch and see the building. However, I think we need to consider all the ways to learning a new language so that we can choose the most effective ones. In my opinions, I believe that watching movies and listening to the songs also are ways to learn a new language. Firstly, we can master a new language from movies and songs. It is more easier and we can learn it at any time. It means that we just need to watch movies or listening to the songs on YouTube when we are free. So it does not need to spend any money compared to other ways. Moving on to the next point, the learning process will be interesting and enjoyable. It is because we can choose the movies and songs based on our interests, and it is also suitable for the children. To exemplify, the best age to learn a new language is 3 to 5 years old, and the movies and songs can catch children's eyes more compared to other mentors. However, the children may be touched with many movies or songs that deliver a bad value, so the parents must watch them together to present it. Lastly, we can also learn the language and its culture at the same time. It means that we are able to see and experience the use of language in its natural environments. To exemplify, when we are listening to the songs of festivals like Hari Raya, Happy Chinese New Year, we can learn new vocabulary and know their culture in this festival. Thus, we can also watch movies from Thailand, Korea, or Japan to learn a new language. Does anyone agree with me? I have a different opinion with you because although learning a new language, though movies and song is more interesting and enjoyable, however, there is no one responsible to correct our grammar mistake. So, I believe that attending a language class is the most effective way to learn a new language. First, language class is suitable for all ages of people to learn a new language. It means that the teacher will customize various learning packages and organize lessons. To exemplify, the organized lessons available is primary school, secondary school, or the universities level. So we can learn the new language in the most effective way in the shorter times. Moving on to the second point, we can learn the most accurate grammar for the language in language class. It means that the material for teaching is deliver a correct knowledge. To exemplify, the teacher in the class will correct us when we use the wrong grammar, and there is a lot of fake information delivered in social media or even in books. Thirdly, we can also practice with the classmate frequently. We are able to see and experience the use of the language in various aspects of life. For example, the lessons for English will customize the vocabulary that we can use in supermarkets, restaurants, and the electric shops. Let's realize we are listening just which is whether the readings, travelings, watching movies, and listening to the songs, or attending the class is the most effective ways to help us to learn language. Do you agree that attend a language class is most effective ways because we will be more motivated as there will always have a teachers with us to correct our grammar mistakes and help us to learn the language in the shortest time. That is a good idea. Although attending a language class may spend some money, but the teacher may teach us the most accurate information and a large collections of vocabularies by the interesting ways such as the virtual videos or some interesting material to help us to learn it in enjoyable ways. I agree with you that this is the best answer for these discussions because the language class teacher always have a schedule to make sure that we can learn all the class programs in a timely manner, and it is also the only way that we can learn the language most effective in a shortest ways. Do everyone's in agreement that the language is most effective for learns a new language because the teacher will customize organized lessons that's suitable for beginners. Excellent. To wrap up our discussions, most of us agree that attending a language class is the best way to learn a new language. So thank you for your attention and have a nice day.